Mm. Well, thank you so much for attending this masterclass on 3 keys to unlocking your personal mastery. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you showing up for yourself, your life, your purpose, and your possibilities. So the first question I have for you is, do you know what personal mastery is? No.
Not really, but I think it probably has something to do with being the best self we can. And I'm gonna cheat now and say it's probably human being human.
Absolutely. It is a part of human being human, which is what we're striving for every single second that we exist on this earth. So, personal mastery is the process of continually striving to become the best and most authentic version of yourself. This means that you understand who you are, what you want, what you need, as well as your strengths and your weaknesses that we all have. It means that you are actively working to understand and improve all of those areas in your life. And it involves setting goals, challenging yourself to reach them. And sometimes it means stepping outside of your comfort zone. And we do that in order to fully see ourselves and to empower ourselves. So, personal mastery allows you to take control of your life, and it creates the life you want to live. So when you have personal mastery, you are constantly learning, growing, becoming mindful of the decisions that you make, as well as the ones you don't make. And this all takes a growth mindset, which means that you open your mind, you have the courage to take risks, and you try new things, which will help you build resilience to make the most of your potential and so that you can reach your goals. It also means that you have a clear vision of yourself and that of your future, because it's important to have clarity. It's important to have a clear idea of where you want to go and how you plan on getting there. This will help you stay focused and keep you motivated in the face of obstacles, because obstacles are going to come. They are part of our life process. There's no getting away from that. Lastly, personal mastery means developing a strong sense of self-discipline. This is essential for us to stay focused on our goals and to keep pushing ourselves to stay on track and to achieve them. Now, this is a life skill. And unfortunately, it's not necessarily a skill that we are taught very often or at all. But when you develop your personal mastery, you become the best version of yourself. And it makes reaching your goals a little bit easier, because you know why those goals are important and how they align with your self-defined values and your sense of self. Having a mindset with a clear vision of your future, and that's driven by a strong self-discipline, will help you take control of your life and create the life that you want to live. And this is such important work. And it's important because this world is rapidly changing. And it's extremely important because we are influenced at the conscious and the subconscious levels of ourselves every day and in multiple ways. And given our addictions to technology, it's not going to change anytime soon. So we have to be responsible for adjusting and figuring out who we are and mastering ourselves. The important thing is only you can do it. No one can hand this to you. Personal mastery is sacred work, and it is the responsibility of the individual. Unfortunately, does get lost in the chaos of the world. The world is noisy, and there's a lot of expectations of who you are and how you're supposed to be according to the ideas of society or your family or the people within your circle of influence. So I have a question. Show of hands, if you can use the reaction button. How many of you wish you had better mastery over your life? Yeah. Oh, yeah. How many of you wish you had more clarity and control, defined goals, and confidence in yourself in order to get it done? Now, I want you to take a moment to write this in the chat. What is it you wish you had more of? Claim it in writing. I can tell you, I needed more time and confidence and grace and patience and a whole lot of other things in order to become the person that I inevitably became. So, I love it. Time and patience, clarity for next steps and how to get it, discipline, inner strength. Oh gosh, inner strength. Yes. I wish I had more ability to say no. We'll touch on that real quick. I resonate with every single thought and feeling that you've said. And believe me, I mean, I really, really know everything that you've mentioned. I have been working on personal mastery for many, many years. And there was a time when I was in my 30s when every single day I wondered and I questioned and I lamented of my life. And I didn't have a bad life. I didn't have a bad life at all. I've got a great husband. I got a great home, but I was listless, bored. I was working too much. I was drinking too much wine at social events, and I was burnt out. I was lost. I was in a life funk, and I was dealing with things I had no control over. And I was watching things happen. And it came to a moment where I got really, really tired of it. But I really didn't start to commit to personal mastery until 2012 with a phone call that I never wanted to have. Now, most people have best friends, so I'm going to make the leap and believe that you have really wonderful people in your life who you connect with and you absolutely love. Well, in 2012, I got a telephone call on a Saturday. It was the same day that Whitney Houston passed. And it was my best friend's sister who called to tell me that she died in her sleep. And she left a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, an 11-year-old. She was 39 years old. She was awesome. And it happened just like that. No, nothing. Just went to sleep and she never returned. And then 18 months later, I got another phone call. It was my other best friend who had breast cancer 3 years before. She went through everything. It was so hard. And then she was all in the clear and we celebrated. And then on that day, she called me and she said, it's back. It brought friends and they're vicious. And they gave me 3 to 4 months to live. And I immediately booked a flight down because she had 3 and 4 months to live and I had to be there. And I spent a week in the hospital with her. I spent a week cleaning her house. I spent a week having deep conversations where she asked me to make a promise. And she asked me to live to my fullest potential and to do everything that I desired to do. Because you never know when your last day is going to be. Not on this earth. And she had so many regrets. And she had so many desires that went unfulfilled. And I said, yes. I said, yes, I can do that. Oh, I'm going to cry. 23 days later, she was gone. 23 days later. And I committed that promise to myself. Committed it. And then my health issues started. I woke up one day out of the blue with massive pain in my body. I had cervical spine issues, and it was one of the most painful experiences I have ever had. And I laid in my bed like, how did I create this? What am I doing? What is this life that I'm living? That was some real stuff. That was real. And then I went on a trip out of the country, and a week after I came back, wow, I was, whew, I began a year-long trial of issues. I had gallbladder surgery. I had complications with my surgery. I was sick and sick and sick, and the doctors didn't know what it was. And they finally figured out I had caught a bacterial infection that was ravaging the inside of my body. And it took a year for me to be able to recover. It was rough. And that broke me down. And that is not even the cherry on top. My husband, during that entire time, has been dealing with health issues, juggling, declining health. And we were playing this horrible game with the doctors called Name That Diagnosis. I don't recommend that game. That game sucks. And what we ended up discovering is that he had not one, not two, not three, but 4 neurological disorders. And then we had to deal with transitioning from him becoming disabled to retirement. He was 40 years old. He's 47 right now. And I'm going to tell you, it was hard. It is hard. It's going to be hard. Well, what got me through all of that was that I had already begun working on personal mastery, working on myself, because I couldn't lose my sense of self. And I didn't want to lose myself in his illness. I needed to still be me, still have my goals, to still be adventurous, to still love my life and myself, regardless of the challenges that I was dealing with. And that I knew would inevitably come. And they did. So what I decided to do was decide. I decided to figure out who I was, what I wanted, and what I needed. And I also needed to break free from my limiting beliefs and the fears that was holding me back. For me, my process was going on adventures. I started doing things way outside of my comfort zone, things that I'd always been curious about. So I went trapeze flying, skydiving. I walked on fire. I did whitewater river rafting. I cannot swim. I went hang gliding, falconry. I went on an eco tour to learn about frogs. I wrote a children's book. And in the last couple of years, I left a very comfortable career, successful career in healthcare, so that I could do the work that I'm passionate about. Because I recognize that what I went through is universal in its own individual way. And that there's a lot of people who are trying to figure out, how can I live this life optimally? How can I be all that I can be? I can honestly say that if I hadn't stopped getting caught up into the cycle of what I'm supposed to do and lamenting on what is my purpose, that that was a hard one. That was like a mantra. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? And I wasn't doing the work. And then I had to let go of my addiction of being work Deb and meeting everyone's expectations, ones that I really wasn't interested in meeting or in claiming. And I never would have done any of these things. And I never would have become the person I am today, which is someone who knows that I can handle hard things, hard times, and hardships without losing myself. I am someone who knows which direction I want to go in, and I can now move in those directions. Now, this all worked for me. That was my process. But my process isn't for everyone. The trick is to find the things or the activities that help you break free of your limiting beliefs, of your fears, the things that resonate with you deeply. Now, I'm sure every one of us has our own list of hard things we've had to or are currently dealing with right now, right? This is why I changed my life. I went back to school. I got my master's in psychology. I got certified as a coach. And it's how I decided to focus on personal mastery and leadership, how we lead our lives fully as ourselves at home and at work, and be consistent doing it. Because we, in our deepest selves, we know who we are. We know what we want, and we know what we need above and beyond what is required for our survival. We just need to take the time to do that inner work in order to discover that. This work is empowering. This work has empowered me to stand comfortable in grace and strength in giving my honest yes and my honest no. That's why I choose to do this work and have these conversations. I know I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not alone in wanting to figure out my best self. I know I'm not alone in the past and occasionally today saying yes when I mean no and no when I mean yes. But I have closed that gap unapologetically, and it's the best thing I have ever done for myself. Who would like to be in that space of personal mastery? Yeah, it's a good stuff. It's a really good space to be in. So, me. So let's go to the keys. The first key to unlocking your personal mastery is self-awareness. And self-awareness means that you know who you are, how you feel, what motivates you, and what you truly desire, as well as what you don't want, what doesn't motivate you, what you don't desire. When you are self-aware, you discover your true self beyond societal expectations. And I mean your family, your friends, the groups you're associated with, and those expectations you've accepted as yours, but they don't fit your inner self or who you imagine yourself to be. It's also those self-imposed limitations that you or others have put on you. And you're rattling around in the cage trying to figure out, which way do I go? How do I deal with this? Self-awareness means that you are tapped into your physical, emotional, spiritual, social, and intellectual awareness. You must see yourselves objectively and disentangle yourselves from external expectations in order to figure out who you are authentically. And once you begin doing this, you have the ability to create the life that you desire, to play to your strengths, get better in those areas of your life that challenge you, to learn how to lean on the strengths of others. And I will tell you right now, that is not my strength. I have to work really, really hard to ask for help and lean on others. Personal mastery is an ongoing process. You know what triggers you and what you do or don't have control over. You also understand how others see you, but you don't use that understanding to limit who you are. And that is such a challenge, especially if you have a pleaser personality and you want to do the right thing and make people happy. But at the end, you're sacrificing so much of yourself. And you're in your house or in your bathroom. That's my favorite place, by yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror going, why am I unhappy? Why are things not going the way I want them to go? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how self-aware are you? Pop your number in the chat. Where are you? I began on a 5. I will say I'm probably a 9. And I say I'm a 9. I might be a little more than a 9. But 10, I won't be hungry. I want to keep working on my mastery. There you are. 3s and 4s. Yeah. Yeah. Personal mastery means that we have to get real with ourselves. We can't afford to ignore things that make us anxious, angry, irritated, frustrated, or lost. It's challenging being a woman. And it's even more difficult in today's climate, where we have less control over our lives or our choices, or maybe we do, maybe it's perceived. I don't know. The second key to unlocking personal mastery is vision and purpose. In order to align your goals with your authentic and deepest desires, you have to define your vision of who you are or who you want to be and what you want to create. If you want to be a baker, an artist, a mechanic, or create a nonprofit, you must have a vision of what you want to do. And then you have to understand the purpose behind it, the reason why you want to do those things. You have to know your why, as Simon Sinek says. You have to understand what it is about the things that you desire and what makes it important enough for you to commit to doing it. For me, I wanted to be more adventurous. I wanted to help people to enjoy my life, not get lost in work, not be work Deb who was not home Deb, who was such a disconnect. I was cracking. I didn't want to spend so much of my energy focusing on the wrong things. I wanted to know how to manage myself and my emotions during difficult times. And because I did the work and have things to look forward to for the rest of my life, personal mastery gave me the tools, the confidence, the opportunities to do what I needed to do. Does that make sense? So on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you know your vision and purpose? Yes. 3. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard, especially when you're working full time and you got a family and all you're doing is do, and then sleep, and then do, sleep. And there's never that time for you to step into you, to dive deep into who you really are. The third key to unlocking personal mastery is mindset shifts. And this one is deep. This one is about getting real, really, really real with yourself. A mindset shift is when you begin to change your assumptions. You challenge those limiting beliefs and the attitudes that you have about yourself and your world. This is about personal development, educating yourself, and giving yourself new experiences based on the desires that fit you as a person. You may not want to jump out of a plane. That's cool. But figuring out what it is that enhances all aspects of you is a gift you can give to yourself. But this means that you are challenging what you've always known or what you've always accepted as true. And you are transitioning from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. And this is part of the sacred work that can break down your limiting beliefs, your fears, and that can change your life, as it has done mine. Doing this work is how I began going on adventures. This was a way of shifting my mindset and kicking down the doors of my limiting beliefs. Did I like trapeze flying? No, I did not. I didn't enjoy it. I realized as I was hanging suspended in the air that I was overweight. I was uncoordinated. And I was like, what the heck am I doing up here when I could be safely down on the ground? And for the next week and a half, I couldn't raise my hands above this. I mean, I was literally brushing my teeth like this, miserable, but laughing at myself. But on the other side of that experience was me seeing how strong I was, how fearless I could be, even when I was scared. And that I could do something unexpected. And I was up for the challenge. And it also showed me areas I needed to work on, like being more confident and having more fun and saying yes and no honestly and enthusiastically. And the rest of my adventures, I absolutely loved. They stretched me and my perceptions even more. But now I'm going to be real with you. This is not easy work. You'll have good days and challenging days. The point is to stop once you've decided to master your life, to master yourself. This is a commitment, but it's a transformation. It can transform you as a person. It can transform you as a woman. It can transform you as fill in your blank, because that's what it did for me. And it's also why I'm sitting here before you with the greatest desire to help as many people as possible to step up and step onto the path of mastery and leadership. Committing to developing your personal mastery can and will transform your life. Truly, truly, truly. You can claim yourself as a whole human being, human, as defined, as designed by you. You just have to take the first step. So, before I recap the 3 keys and move on to questions, the Q&A section, I want to acknowledge each of you for showing up today. You did this for you. You did this for your potential. There is a lot of noise online and in the world, and so many things trying to grab at our attention right now, right? And I know that if you registered for this event, if you showed up for this event, it was because you felt curiosity and a pull to dive into yourself. Something called you to register, and something called you to commit to attending. So congratulations. By doing this, by being here today, this is your first nod to your personal mastery. And I hear you, I feel you, I'm listening. Because that's what we have to do. Now, I want to invite you to step into that transformative experience that will light up your personal journey. my gift to you is a complimentary breakthrough personal mastery session. 30 minutes, dive deep into your personal aspirations and the blocks that might be holding you back from creating the life that you want. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you. There we go. Personal mastery is sacred work. Sacred work. Let's take that in for a second. It's looking at yourself. It's looking deeply into your eyes, in that mirror, into your soul of you. There's only one you. During this time, we're going to dive into you. We're going to figure out whether or not we connect. No harm, no foul. And you'll leave the session with one of my hottest tips to help you step into personal mastery. And you know what's more exciting? This is just a sneak peek into the vastness of you, into the greatness of you, because you are great, even when you don't feel like you are. So my question to you is, how much longer do you want to stay in one place? Just spinning your wheels, burning out, feeling frustrated, maybe a little lost like I was. It's time to make your dreams a reality. I've opened up some spaces. That's a special link just for you. If the times that you see in the calendar do not work, drop me an email. I am happy to work on a schedule that works best for us both. No worries. It's just a chat. It's an opportunity. You can walk away with a hot tip, nothing else. And a connection. What the heck? All right, go back to the 3 keys. I know I went through that a bit quickly. I wanted to be respectful of your time. I also want to leave a little bit of time for Q&A just in case. I want to remind you what we're talking about. The first key to unlocking personal mastery is your self-awareness, which means you know who you are, how you feel, what motivates you, and what you truly desire. The second key to unlocking your personal mastery is your vision and purpose. You have to define the vision of who you want to become and what you want to create in this lifetime. And then you have to understand the purpose, which is the reason why you want to do those things. So that your goals, you know why they matter to you, and you know why they're important enough to commit yourself to accomplishing. The third key to unlocking your personal mastery is your mindset shift, where you begin to challenge and change your assumptions, your limiting beliefs, and the attitudes you have about yourself and the world around you through personal development, education, and giving yourself those experiences that will transform your life and grow your mindset. All 3 keys are meant for you to take action and claim who you are in this life. But here's the thing. You can wish, hope, and dream, but without putting the action behind it, all you have is a wish, a hope, or a dream. There's a question. 1 second. I know we're discerning the keys. Is it possible to share basic tools to develop strength each day? I will get to that as soon as I get done with what I'm saying. I will definitely.
Each key.
Each key. Got it. So I have a 3-month program, and we dive into the things that actually hold us back from being our most authentic selves. And we begin to identify what it is that we need to create the mastery in our lives. And it doesn't drop into your lap. Those are the tools. It doesn't drop into your lap. You have to stretch and move toward it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So now that you have your 3 keys, I did forget at the beginning to mention I actually have a bonus that I wanted to share with you. So I guess this is key number 4. And that bonus key is your intuition. Intuition is the highest form of intelligence and the greatest guide on your journey of personal mastery. When you tap into your intuition or your gut feelings or your inner voice, whatever you call it, you have the ability to understand or know something consciously, objectively, based on your experiences and your innate understanding that guide it. Your intuition is powerful. It is a powerful source that is always with you if you are willing to get quiet and listen. I am very close to my intuition. It has saved me many hardships and heartaches. Many. You've heard my journey. It's complicated. And all four of these keys helped me to navigate the ups and downs over the years. And lastly, before we get to the Q&A, I want to say the gift that my best friend, her name is Ashling, gift that she gave me is the knowledge that yesterday is gone. You can't get it back. You can't fix it. You have today. You may or may not have tomorrow. That's what I got from my friend Shelley. That's reality. But if you take the time to dive deep into yourself, your mind, your thoughts, your actions, your reactions, and you begin to identify who you are and what it is that you want, need, and desire to achieve, you can begin the work of making it happen. You can be more present with yourself in the moment, even when it's chaotic. You can witness yourself and decide what serves you best or least at any moment. That is what is possible. But you have to start the work. And I hate the word work because it sounds so depressing. That's the best word I have right now. You have to dedicate yourself. This is the primary key to unlocking your personal mastery, to unlocking your potential, to becoming the master of your life. But it's harder to do it alone. When you have the support, you can get really clear on what you want, what you need, and how you envision your life. And then you can get quiet enough to hear your heart's whispering, yes. And when that happens, the whole world can change. You can experience deep levels of freedom from your past, from that relentless voice in your head that you're like, just shut up and leave me alone, from expectations that don't fit who you are. You get the clarity on your divine self, your divine voice, that voice that maybe you've been ignoring a little too long. And when you get clarity, you begin to embody personal mastery, right? This is my symbol of personal mastery, being in balance. When you get clarity, you embody it and you get to live your birthright. You get to live that version of yourself and that life you never thought possible. And maybe you never even thought about because busy. Voice telling you other things in your life, distractions. You have one chance to live this life as you, as Anne, as Eliza, as Deb. There are no do-overs. And we all have our date and our time and our moment when we will meet our last blink, being human on this earth. So what will you do with your life until then? Thank you so much for listening, for attending. Thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself or drop them in the chat. But I'm going to go over to Nikki's question. I'm going to read that again. Discerning the keys, is it possible to share basic tools to develop and strengthen each day? Yes. Yes. I invite if you don't journal, I invite you to get a journal And even if you're not a writer, if you do art, however you express yourself, however it speaks to you, open it up and pour into it who you are today. And then pour into it who you want to be going forward. And then give yourself some space. Go back to that journal. And then I want you to look at everything that's disconnected. I want you to look at your values. What do you value in this life? And I want you to give yourself some space. Then I want you to go through all of that again. And then I want you to say, what in the person I am today versus the person I want to be. You could even go back and say to the person I used to be, where are my values? What is aligned? What is not aligned? What is not on this list? This is the beginning of understanding who you are. That journal, however you use it, you can write a poetry, you can write prose, you can just use brainstorming, bullet points, however your process works for you. You can get down to the root of who you are. It is absolutely possible. Heck, it's essential. We got one chance at this. I have one chance at Deb. I really don't want to screw this up. And being unconscious as I used to be, yeah, I could see, I don't even want to think about how and who I would be today if I had not had all of those experiences to right size me on the path that I've been on.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anyone else? Or did I miss any questions? Okay.
As I told you earlier, unfortunately, I have to run,
Yes.
but I sent you my email for the session already. So I look forward to talking with you some more. Great meeting you, and all the best to the others of you as we seek to meet our new selves.
Absolutely.
Blessed weekend.
You as well, Reverend Nickley. You as well. I'm going to turn off the recording now.